Hello students, this is my third lecture on OC chapter number 1, Principles of Management. In our last lecture, I have completed with Henry Fayol's theory of management. Now moving to the next topic, it's Frederick Winslow Taylor's scientific management theory. This is the second theory. If you remember, the Henry Fayol theory was the modern theory, or you can say as the administrative theory. But Frederick Taylor has given the scientific management theory. So, starting with this, Taylor was an American who started his career as machinist. Through his hard work and progress, rose to the position of the chief engineer. Taylor's approach towards management is termed as scientific management. For this contribution and development of management thoughts, he is known as the father of scientific management. So, Taylor was born in 1856 and he died in 1915. He was an American, and while starting his career, he got the post of machinist. But initially, after doing hard work and with progress, he rose his position, means he got the position of chief engineer. After that, he has given a theory and he has done an approach towards management, which is called as scientific management. For his this contribution to management thoughts, he is known as the father of scientific management. So Fayol was known as the father of modern management, and Frederick Taylor is known as the father of scientific management. Taylor's management theory is based on scientific experiments. This theory involves the application of scientific approach to decision making and solving them at the same time. According to Taylor, problems should be solved by scientific techniques rather than the rule of thumb and a trial and approach. Means what? What Taylor is doing, what Taylor has done, Taylor has made his management theory which is based on scientific experiments. According to him, the scientific technique should be put in forward rather than the rule of thumb or trial or error approach. Trial or error means what? If we do this, we will get this result. Okay, come on, this is not working. Let's try the second thing. Come on, this is not working. Let's do the next thing. This is trial and approach method, but it will waste the time of the managers. Moreover, what is rule of thumb? Rule of thumb is no, we have to do this only. Rule of thumb means what is decided, it is to be done as that only. Whether the conditions are changing, whether the situations are changing, you are not going to change. But this will not give you the maximum output. That's why, according to Taylor, he has told in his management theory that the problem should be solved by scientific techniques. Depending upon the scientific experiments, he has prepared his theory, which is called as scientific management theory. Moving further, first we will see the definition of scientific management by Frederick Taylor. According to him, scientific management consists of knowing what you, that is management, want men to do exactly and seeing it that they do it in the best and the cheapest manner. So, according to Taylor, scientific management means what? He is talking about the management. That management want to know what the men means here employees. The management wants the employees, want men to do and seeing it that what they do in the best and cheapest manner. So, the scientific management will help the managers to make the proper utilization of resources. It will consider what the employee should do, and that too in the right way, in the best way, and in the cheapest manner. So all resources will be utilized properly. Okay. moving further, now the principles of scientific management. Here in his theory, his scientific theory, Taylor has given 6 principles of scientific management. We will see one by one. So the first principle is science, not rule of thumb. In order to increase organizational efficiency, the rule of thumb method should be substituted with the methods developed through scientific analysis of work. Rule of thumb decisions are based on personal judgments of the manager. Taylor insisted upon scientific method for every small work. This principle is concerned with selecting the best way of performing a job after scientific analysis of that job and not by trial and error method. Standard required time and standard output time should be defined by the manager. This will help in saving time and human energy and will result into expected standard output. According to Taylor, even a small production activity like loading iron sheets into boxcars can be scientifically planned. So this is the very first principle that Taylor has given. According to him, if you have to increase your organizational efficiency or productivity, the two things that you have to discard is, first is the rule of thumb and second is the trial and error method. Now, rule of thumb are the decisions which are based on the personal judgments of the manager. If the manager feels this has to be done, he will do that, right? This is rule of thumb. So what he is saying, Taylor is insisting that for every small work, scientific method should be used, proper planning should be done. They should do the scientific analysis, and then it should be done, right? Trial and error method should not be used. First, see the scientific approach of the problem, find the scientific solution, and then apply it. So what will happen due to this? They will save time and human energy, which will give them the expected standard output. Now, a manager, according to Taylor, the manager should define standard required time and standard output by the employer. For example, suppose the manager, it's a company producing electrical units, any of the electrical units. So a manager should decide that each employee should produce at least 50, 20 depending upon the size and nature of the business, that 50, 20 whatever, that this much output has to be produced by an employee in the single day. So here what will happen? A manager knows what is the output at the end of the day, as well as the worker will know I have to produce so many units. So even he will work in a proper way. So according to Taylor, for every management activity, the planning scientific analysis is necessary. Second, harmony, not discard. According to this principle, there should be harmony between the employees and management. This coordination will help in minimizing conflicts between them. Perfect understanding between employees and management will be helpful in creating healthy work environment for achieving the desired goal, that is success. Organization should think about maximum prosperity of employees also. So according to this principle, Taylor is saying that, see, you may find many of the points which are same as the Henry Fayol's theory. The meaning of those points are exactly same, but it has been put on the paper in a different way, right? See, in Fayol theory also we have learned that there should not be conflict, right? So here also Taylor has stated that there should be harmony. Harmony means happiness, coordination between the management and employees. The management should look after the employees, the employees should look after the management. Both should have perfect understanding, because this only can create a healthy working environment. And whenever there is a working healthy environment, then only the organization can achieve its desired goal, right? And moreover, employee has to work for the organization, but at the same time, the management, the organization should also think about the maximum prosperity of the employee. Means they should pay fair wages and every other thing by which the employee is satisfied and happy. Moving to the third point, it's mental revolution. Taylor introduced the concept of mental revolution. This principle focuses on changing the attitude of employees and management towards each other. Both should realize their equal importance in organization. They should give full cooperation for achieving goal of organization. This will increase productivity and profit. So the third thing what Taylor has put on is mental revolution. Mental means mentality of both the employee as well as the employer, that is the management manager. It should be like both should work for each other, both should think equally importance about each other. Both are equally important in the organization. If a manager is not good, employee cannot perform well. If the employees are not working, management cannot give the output, right? So both has to be in coordination and they both rely on each other. So the most needed is the full cooperation between both of them, which will ultimately is going to help increasing productivity as well as profit. Now the fourth point, corporation, not individualism. This principle emphasizes on mutual cooperation between workforce, that is employee and management. Due to cooperation, trust, team spirit, etc., internal competition will turn into healthy working environment. Management should always consider the suggestions given by the employees in decision making process. Employees should be treated as an integral part of organization in all respects. At the same time, employees should resist themselves from going on strikes and making unnecessary demands from management. They should treat each other as two pillars of the organization. What is pillars? पिलर्स आर दी वो स्तंभ होते हैं जिसके ऊपर बिल्डिंग खड़ी होती है, राइट? अगर पिलर्स नहीं होंगे, स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं होंगे, तो बिल्डिंग अगर आप बनाओगे तो वो भी गिर जाएगी. सो दीज आर दी बेस. सो both have to understand that we both are the important pillars. Management should always ask their employees to give their suggestions and they should be treated as integral part. उनको ऐसा नहीं लगना चाहिए कि हमसे कोई कुछ पूछ ही नहीं रहा है, हमारे पास इससे बेटर आइडिया है तो हमसे कोई पूछता नहीं है, कोई सलाह नहीं लेता है, ऐसा नहीं लगना चाहिए. सो एम्प्लॉयज शुड बी ऑलवेज आस्क्ड फॉर देयर सजेशंस, फॉर देयर गुड प्लान्स, and at the same time employees should also look that they should not go for strikes or making unnecessary bonus दो, ये बढ़ा दो, ये हाइक कर दो, ऐसा कर दो. unnecessary चीज़ें नहीं होनी चाहिए. So that's why what Taylor has emphasis, his emphasis on mutual cooperation between the workforce and management. Moving to the next point, that is division of responsibility. According to Taylor, proper division of work should always be accompanied with division of responsibilities between managers and employees. Major planning is done by the top and middle level management authorities, whereas employees are concentrating on its execution. The reporting is done as per the instructions given by their superiors. Managers should always help, encourage, and guide the employees. It helps for better performance of the managers as well as employees. So again, in Henry Fayol also we have learned about authority, responsibility, division of work. All this has combined in this single point, and according to the Taylor, there should be proper division of work between the employers as well as the employees, right? And the planning is usually done by the top and the middle level. The lower level people are the people who are actually in the picture, who are giving the output, right? ऊपर वाले सिर्फ प्लानिंग करते हैं, नीचे वाले को काम करना होता है. So whatever instructions are given by the superiors, the lower level people, that is employees and all, दे हैव टू एग्जीक्यूट करना, वो एक्चुअली में करना, इन प्रैक्टिस करना, इन रियलिटी करना। वो जो करते हैं वो ऑन पेपर होता है, वो दिमाग से होता है कि ये ऐसे करना है, प्लानिंग है, पर एक्चुअली उन्हें कैसे करना है वो वर्कर्स ही करते हैं। सो मैनेजर शुड ऑलवेज encourage them and guide the employees, help the employees. Suppose if the employee is not able to do it, it is not that they should make fun of them or they should take them out and scold them, but they should help and encourage. They should give them other ideas how to perform that work. Okay, so this there should be, and this is all for the best performance of both of them, managers as well as employees. Moving further, sixth one, development of employer and employees for greater efficiency and maximum prosperity. Best performance of any organization always depends on the skill and capabilities of its employees to a great extent. Thus, providing training and development programs to the employees whenever required is very essential. It ultimately affects the profitability of the organization. Each employee should be given proper opportunity to attain greater efficiency and maximum prosperity. So now in this point, Taylor has focused that for maximum prosperity यानी क्या होता है? प्रॉस्पेरिटी यानी पैसा भी आना चाहिए, खुशियाँ भी आनी चाहिए, प्रॉस्पर करना यानी बढ़ना, लेकिन सही तरीके में बढ़ना, राइट? किसी चीज़ की कमी नहीं होना। सिर्फ ऐसा नहीं है पैसा बढ़ रहा है लेकिन लोग दुखी हैं, वो तो प्रॉस्पेरिटी नहीं होती। प्रॉस्पेरिटी यानी हर जगह खुशी होनी चाहिए, राइट? सो अकॉर्डिंग टू हिम, फॉर मैक्सिमम सबसे ज़्यादा प्रॉस्पेरिटी कब आ सकती है? जब समय समय पे एम्प्लॉयर और एम्प्लॉय को ट्रेनिंग मिलनी चाहिए। दे शुड गेट देयर स्किल एंड कैपेबिलिटीज़ जो है उनको बढ़ाने के लिए दे शुड गिव देम डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम्स whenever it is necessary. Whenever we feel that new machine is there in the organization or something has come in the market which can increase in productivity, the same time management should take the decision and give the employees the training and development programs. So what will happen? Whatever they have learned in this training, they are again going to use in the organization only. So every employee will should be given proper opportunity so that they can attain their maximum prosperity and greater efficiency. So these are the 6 principles of scientific management. Now for performing these 6 principles of scientific management, Taylor has given some techniques. Techniques means what? Techniques means how to do it. अभी ये सब प्रिंसिपल फॉलो तो करना है, लेकिन कैसे, हाउ दे विल डू इट. सो फॉर दैट सम स्टडी हैज़ टू बी डन, सम प्लानिंग हैज़ टू बी डन. So what are those techniques? What are those things which can be learned by the manager and then he can decide on? So some of the techniques he has given 6 techniques. So first one is work study. So according to Taylor, before assigning the work to the available workforce, proper work study should be done by the management. Work study consists of an organized, systematic, and critical assessment of various activities or functions. Work study is based on the techniques such as time study, motion study, method study, and fatigue study. So according to Taylor, the first thing that manager has to do is the work study. How the work is done in our organization, that manager has to do. Now how he can do? For this he has to do this 4 studies, that is time study, motion study, method study, and fatigue study. First, looking to the time study. It is the technique of observing and recording the time taken by an employee to complete a given task. With the help of time study, the precise time required for each element of work is determined. It is the technique used for fixing the standard time required to do a particular task under given condition. It is useful to measure the efficiency of an employee and to control the cost of work. So what do you mean by time study? It's simple. It's a technique. It's a way of observing and recording कि एक दिन में एक इंसान कितना यूनिट प्रोड्यूस कर सकता है किसी भी चीज़ का. दिस इज़ नॉट अवर प्रोडक्शन, एनीथिंग. कितना बेच सकता है, कितना सेल कर सकता है, कितनी मार्केटिंग कर सकता है. सो the manager has to make a complete study of this. Okay, how much time is required, what standard time is required for doing a particular task, again in a given condition. Same condition होगी, same employees होंगे, तो इतना टाइम लगेगा. ऐसे उसको एक स्टडी बनानी चाहिए. What will be useful out of this? It is useful to measure the efficiency of employee and to control the cost of work. मतलब एक दिन की उतना कॉस्ट में इतने यूनिट्स प्रोड्यूस हुए. दिस इज द मीनिंग ऑफ दैट. सो द मैनेजर हैज़ टू फर्स्ट डू द टाइम स्टडी. सेकेंड इज मेथड स्टडी. There are always various methods of completing the task. For best quality and cost effectiveness, identify the best method of doing a particular job. It's very important but challenging task for a manager. It helps in reducing the wastage of time, raw material, and in improving the utility of all resources as per predefined objectives. It is useful in determining the methods for handling the raw material, transportation, inception, storage, etc. Storage, etc. So there are this method study means पहले तो टाइम का पता लगा लिया कितना टाइम लगेगा. सेकेंड मेथड का पता लगाओ, इतना टाइम लगता है लेकिन अब इस टाइम में कौन सा मेथड यूज़ करना है. सी फॉर परफॉर्मिंग एनी जॉब देर आर वेरियस मेथड. एक काम करने के लिए आप 10 मेथड यूज़ कर सकते हो, बट विच मेथड विल बी मोस्ट यूजफुल, किसमें सबसे कम टाइम लगेगा और काम भी अच्छी. टाइम तो कम लगा लेकिन काम नहीं हुआ, सो यहाँ वेस्टेज ज़्यादा हो गया तो रिसोर्सेज का. ये सही बात नहीं है. सो द टेलर, what Taylor has suggested, they have to do a proper method study. How much time but is required, but which method is to be required, which method is to be used by the employees, that has to be found by the manager so as to reduce the wastage of raw materials and other resources. Okay. Third one is motion study. The study of required motion means movement of an employee as well as of the machine while completing a particular task is very important. It is helpful in eliminating unnecessary motions and finding the best method of doing a particular job. It also helps in improving the efficiency of the employees. Motion technique is used to know whether some elements of a job can be eliminated or their sequence can be changed for smooth flow of task. Now what is doing a motion? Motion means movement. The word meaning of motion is movement, right? तो मूवमेंट, किसका मूवमेंट देखने के लिए बोल रहे हैं टेलर बोल रहे हैं कि आपको एम्प्लॉय और मशीनरी का मूवमेंट देखना है. द वॉट एवर प्रोसेस इज यूज्ड इन द प्रोडक्शन, इज इट राइट, वेदर द फ्लो ऑफ दिस वर्क इज़ राइट. कोई ऐसी चीज़ है जिसको अगर हम एलिमिनेट करना मतलब हटा देना, अगर हम किसी एक स्टेप को हटा दें या किसी स्टेप को ऊपर नीचे कर दें तो क्या हमारा काम जल्दी हो सकता है, क्या हमारे वर्कर्स को ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं लगेगा और जल्दी से ये काम निपटा लेंगे. तो ये सब चीज़ की जो स्टडी करना है इसको टेलर ने कहा है मोशन स्टडी. दे हैव टू फाइंड आउट कि विच स्टेप कैन बी एलिमिनेटेड, राइट, and how much time that worker means, is there any step which can be shuffled so that they can get the best output from it. So this is the meaning of motion study. Next is the fatigue study. Generally long working hours without sufficient breaks, target pressure, heavy working tools and poor working condition result into physical and mental stress, that is fatigue. It has an adverse effect on health and efficiency of the employees. The study of fatigue and steps to reduce the level of fatigue is very important to maintain the operational efficiency of the employees. Now what is fatigue? As it is given, it is physical and mental stress. आपका शरीर भी थक जाता है और उसके साथ साथ दिमाग भी, मेंटल यानी दिमाग भी थक जाता है काम करते करते. So manager has to find out that what is the best time to give the breaks, so to release the target pressure. if a person is working continuously, then it will be a pressure on the mind as well as body of the employee. For example, when you come to college, right, you have a break in between, because suppose if there is no break continuously, if we are going to take continuous 5-6 lectures, का दिमाग खराब हो जाएगा. तो इसीलिए आपको बीच में एक ब्रेक दिया गया है ताकि वो फैटिक 20 मिनट्स का ब्रेक है, यू कैन वॉक अराउंड, यू कैन गो वॉशरूम, यू कैन ड्रिंक वाटर, यू कैन चैट विद योर फ्रेंड्स, सो दैट इट आपका वापस से एक मूड अच्छा होगा. सो इन द सेम वे इन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ऑल्सो, मैनेजर हैज़ टू फाइंड आउट व्हेन study this fatigue, and also he has to find out the steps to reduce the level of fatigue. So इससे क्या होगा, ultimately operational efficiency of employee बढ़ जाएगी. Now the next, all these 4 which we have studied is the part of first point, that is work study. Now coming to the second technique, standardization of tools and equipments. With the results of experiments conducted at workplace, Taylor advocated standardization of tools and equipment. Standardized working environment and methods of production help to reduce spoilage and wastage of material, cost of production, fatigue among workers, and it improves quality of work. Now, what do you mean by standardization of tools and equipment? इक्विपमेंट्स और टूल्स जो भी होते हैं उनको स्टैंडर्डाइज करना है. स्टैंडर्डाइज करना होता है, ISI मार्क जानते हो, एग मार्क जानते हो, ये एक चीज़ को स्टैंडर्डाइज कर दिया कि भाई इलेक्ट्रिकल गुड्स जो है अगर उसमें IC मार्क है मतलब वो टेस्टेड है, राइट. एग मार्क है तो वो कोई एग्रीकल्चर प्रोडक्ट है तो ये टेस्टेड है, ये अच्छी क्वालिटी का. इसी तरह से उनके टूल्स और इक्विपमेंट जो भी मशीन है उसको स्टैंडर्डाइज करना है, मतलब जो अच्छी हैं, अच्छे क्वालिटी की है उनको यूज़ करना है और एक प्रॉपर पैटर्न में यूज़ करना है. एक रूल बना देना है कि ये ऐसे यूज़ करना है, इसको यहाँ करना है, ये काम को इधर करना है. स्टैंडर्ड मेंटेन करना है. कोई भी अपने मर्जी से कुछ भी पहले स्टेप कर रहा है बाद में कर रहा है, ऐसे नहीं. एक बराबर प्रॉपर pattern. They have to make a proper standardization of these things. First you will do this, second step is this, third is this. So this will again help in the wastage of material, cost of production, fatigue among workers, and it will improve your quality of work. Third point, scientific task setting. Taylor emphasized the need for fixing a fair day's work. Scientific work setting is important to prevent the employees from doing work much below their capacity. By using this technique, employees will complete the task according to the standards given, and management can keep proper control on optimum utilization of workforce. So what do you mean by this? Taylor has emphasized, it is insisted that there should be a fair day's work fix. Like एक दिन में एक बंदे को इतना काम करना है, right? So output capacity of an employee should be fixed. Suppose if the employee is not able to complete this, then again we can understand that this employee is not working properly. So if there is some standard, then by using this technique, scientific technique, ऐसे नहीं अपने मन से नहीं आज 100 बनाना, ऐसा नहीं. प्रॉपर स्टडी करके इतना टाइम है, इतने टाइम में मशीन इतना आउटपुट देती है तो वर्कर कितना काम कर सकता है. प्रॉपर साइंटिफिक टास्क देना है. टास्क यानी ये काम ख़त्म करना है. टास्क यानी द वर्क दैट इज़ टू बी डन. सो द प्रॉपर साइंटिफिक सेटिंग्स शुड बी डन फॉर द एम्प्लॉयज़ एंड दे शुड बी गिवन सम स्टैंडर्ड्स सो दैट दे कैन डू देयर वर्क इन टाइम. ओके. कई बार क्या होता है, वर्कर्स को पता होता है कि ये इतने में आज यही करना है, हो सकता है उससे ज़्यादा भी कर सकते हैं, पर वो लोग कोशिश ही नहीं करते हैं. क्यों? क्योंकि उनको लगता है क्या कर ज़्यादा करके क्या फ़ायदा है, इसीलिए. सो दे वर्क बिलो देयर कैपेसिटी. सो दैट इज़ नॉट गुड फॉर द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. सो फॉर ऑप्टिमम यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ वर्कफोर्स, हु इज़ द वर्कफोर्स? एम्प्लॉय. Scientific task setting is necessary. Next point, scientific selection and training. Management can select right persons for right job by using scientific selection procedures. It helps to fix job specification as per requirement. Employees are selected according to their predetermined standards in an impartial way. After selection, management should provide the proper training program to increase their efficiency. So there should be some, for recruitment there should be some scientific selection procedure. किसी को भी कोई काम नहीं देना है, उसने क्या पढ़ाई की है, what are the qualifications, According to them, the employee should be selected, and once he is selected, then the manager has to provide the training for further work. This is the meaning of scientific selection. Selection तो करना ही है सही, तो selection के बाद उसको training भी देनी है, आगे कैसे काम करना है वो भी बताना है. Next is functional organization. In this concept of Taylor, planning is separated from implementation. That means planning is done by different people and actual work is supervised by different people. Thus, every worker will be supervised by two different sets of supervisors. He recommended total 8 foremen to control the various aspects of production. They are categorized as follows. Now, according to Taylor, फंक्शनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन मतलब फंक्शन करना, मतलब जो एक्चुअल काम करना है उसमें वो ऑर्गेनाइज कैसे करना है इनको. तो व्हाट ही इज सेइंग, देयर शुड बी 2 टीम्स. जो लोग काम करा रहे हैं, प्लानिंग कर रहे हैं, वो अलग होने चाहिए. जो एक्चुअल काम कर रहे हैं वो लोग, उनको अलग सुपरवाइज करने वाला होना चाहिए. मतलब एक इंसान बताने वाला होना चाहिए कि कैसे काम करना है, और एक इंसान वो होना चाहिए वो देखे कि वो सही कर रहा है या नहीं कर रहा है. So he has made 2 functional levels. First level is the planning level. So at planning level there are 4 people. The first one is the root clerk. What is the work of him? Tells how work move from one machine to other. एक मशीन से दूसरी मशीन पे जाते हुए काम कैसे जाएगा वो डिसाइड करेगा. Instruction clerk records instruction to complete the work. He will give the instruction कि कैसे काम complete करना है. Time and cost clerk determines time in which work should be completed and work out the cost. So time पता करेगा कितना टाइम लगेगा ये सब करने में, राइट, और कितना कॉस्ट, इस समय में कितना कॉस्ट लगेगा. कॉस्ट क्या होता है, मशीन चल रही है तो लाइट चल रही है तो फैन चल रहा है, तो ये सब चीज़ें जो भी चल रही है उसका कॉस्ट निकालना है. कितना टाइम लगेगा, कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन में कितना कॉस्ट लगेगा. Discipline ensures that the workers are working as per factory rule. There should be one person who should plan for discipline. If they are working under the rules and regulations or not. This is at planning level. The second level is the implementation level. So for implementation, again there are 4 people. One is the gang boss, एक्चुअली गेट्स दी वर्क डन. अब ऊपर वालों ने जिन्होंने प्लानिंग की है उसने बता दिया है कैसे काम करना है. अब गैंग बॉस को देखना है एक्चुअली काम हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा है. स्पीड बॉस ensures that the work is completed in specific time. So he will see whether the work is completed or not. पिछले वाले में प्लानिंग में उन्होंने कहा था कि ये बताएगा कि कितना टाइम लगेगा. यहाँ उनको देखना है कि टाइम में हुआ या नहीं हुआ. Repair boss handles security and maintenance of mechanisms. Sometimes there can be some maintenance or security issues. It will be done by repair boss. Inspector ensures that the work is done as per the specified standards. काम तो हो गया लेकिन सही तरीके से प्रोडक्शन नहीं हुआ है. So he has to look after the specific standards. So according to Taylor, with the help of proper division of all activities into planning and implementation, management can definitely achieve the required performance from the employees. So in this point, he has done distinguished into planning and implementation level. Next, differential piece rate wage plan. What do you mean by this? Remuneration should be fixed in such a way that average worker is motivated to attain a standard output. Taylor suggested the differential piece wage system. Higher rates are offered to employees who complete the work more than the standard quantity under this system. On the other hand, if an employee is performing below the standard, he shall be given the lower rate of wages. This technique motivates the employee to attain higher standard performance and earn wages, that is remuneration at higher rate. So what here Taylor has suggested that there should not be the same wage rate for everyone. Last day in FAOL we have learned the same wage rate for the same departments working at the same post. But Taylor ने क्या कहा है कि there should not be same. It should be different depending upon the performance of the employee who is performing good, then completing the work or giving standard quantity, and they will be getting good wages, but those who are not performing well, not able to complete their task, they will be getting the lower wage. Now why he want to do this? Because according to his technique, this will help this will motivate the employees to attain higher standard performance and earn wages, remuneration and higher. इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि वो क्यों करना चाहते हैं बेसिकली ऐसे, ताकि जिनको हायर वेट मिल रहा है, वेजेस मिल रहे हैं, वो देखे कि अच्छा इन्होंने ऐसे किया था, मैं भी ऐसे करूँ। हेल्दी एनवायरनमेंट आना चाहिए, उनमें कन्फ्लिक्ट्स नहीं आना चाहिए, उनको बताना चाहिए कि देखो उन्होंने ये किया इसलिए ऐसे हुआ, उनको ज़्यादा मिला है, तो नेक्स्ट टाइम इवन दे विल गिव देयर मैक्सिमम आउटपुट। ओके, नेक्स्ट पॉइंट। सो here we have just a minute. So here we have completed with our techniques of management. Now theories of management. Theories of management, this is just the concluding part of the chapter. We have learned 2 theories in this chapter, right? So theories of management are the basis of organizational development and of achieving success for every type of business. In this modern era of liberalization, privatization and globalization, the scope of management has been widened in a greater extent. Various types of business environmental changes are responsible for increasing significance of management. These traditional theories are proving very effective in handling businesses with some modifications according to change in situation. So ये जो theories है management की, they are nothing but the base for what? Organizational development and for achieving success. हर तरह के, every type of organization, maybe small, large, big, right, medium size, every organization, it is helpful, it is the base. Then in this modern era of, you must have seen the born date and the born date and the death date of both the management thinkers. वो कितने पुराने थे वो लोग, so इसीलिए ये old theories हैं. So these are the old theories and these theories, these are called the traditional theories. ये जो theories हैं, ये जो modern era means आज का time, liberalization, we have already learned in 11th standard, right? Liberalization, privatization and globalization. All these points we have learned in 11th standard. So from that point of view, they are very much helpful to the managers of the organization. Now again, their business is changing now and then, right? So for this various types of business environmental changes, these are responsible for increasing significance of management. अब business change हो रहा है तो मैनेजमेंट की सिग्निफिकेंस समझ में आती है. एक चेंज नहीं है, ठीक है भाई यही काम रोज़ करना है, कोई चेंज की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है. पर व्हेन द एनवायरनमेंट इज चेंजिंग, अगेन द प्रिंसिपल्स हैज़ टू बी मॉडिफाइड एंड पुट इनटू द वर्क. सो अगेन वी नीड सम मैनेजमेंट पर्सन्स. सो दैट्स व्हाई मैनेजमेंट का जो सिग्निफिकेंस है ना, इम्पोर्टेंस बढ़ रहा है डे बाय डे, राइट. नाउ दीज ये जो थियरीज हमने पढ़ी है, they are very effective in handling businesses, and with some modification they can be used in the changing situation, right. Now these changes resulted into various trends in management: disaster management, supply and logistic management, event management, stress management, corporate social responsibility, total quality management, etc. are some of the recent trends in management. ये जो मैनेजमेंट है ये अभी एक छोटा सा शब्द नहीं रह गया. इट इज़ नॉट अ स्मॉल थिंग नाउ. मैनेजमेंट हैज़ ग्रोन इज फेदर्स. Like you can see the name of these are the different types of management. Even you can do your higher studies in any of this, right? So there are different types of managers who do this type of studies. Stress management करना, corporate social responsibility, total quality, disaster management, supply and logistics. These are the different types of, there are many more. So these are